Hey guys, welcome to my roller coaster because yes, this week's episode of Sleepy Hollow I enjoyed very much. So for this week, we are up. The meaty part of the plot featured someone from Abbie's past. So it was Abbie at the forefront, Abbie's emotions, Abbie reacting, us learning something about Abbie. Those plots are always strong because Abbie is a strong, very well developed and developing and growing character. Unlike her little witness partner, every time they excel with regards to us meeting someone from Abbie's past, I cannot help but compare it to the hand that Ichabod is dealt every single time. By this point, we know more people from Ichabod's past than we do from Abbie's past. And yet, whenever they introduce someone from her past, we learn more about her. She talks about, she talked about Joey Corbin's son, John Corbin's son. She used to babysit him. He's basically like her stepbrother. He's basically her stepbrother. She used to babysit him. He had these Superman pajamas he always wore and would always jump on her, talk about he's gonna save her. And she reflected fondly at the memories. We saw her fight for Joe. Joe was jealous. It was a very rich relationship. He was jealous of the attention that he felt Corbin gave her. He felt that Corbin kind of pushed him aside, ignored him because he was so focused on saving the stray. That was Abbie. We even got a flashback of Abbie and Corbin, like what made you, I don't remember what the question was, but it was like, what made you decide? Oh yes, because Abbie was like, part of her wanted to change when Corbin gave her the ultimatum, the pie and the ice cream and the melted soup thing. Part of her wanted to change, but most of her just didn't want to go to jail. And the rapport was very good. And we saw that she saw how Corbin talked about his son. At the time, Joey was 9 years old. So Abbie has, quite a bit of years on Joey, and she saw how he talked about him, and in her heart and in her mind, she was like, I want that. I want that, and so that's why she decided to make the change that Corbin she decided to endeavor to make the change that Corbin was asking of her and believed that she could make it. It's all very rich. When Ichabod, especially when he talks about someone that he knew, but even when we see it, as was the case with Mary last episode, it's always that he did it in this episode when he talked about, who did he talk about? Benjamin Franklin? And then he also talked about Daniel Boone. Yes, he knew Daniel Boone, or at least he knew of him. He always talks about that person, his opinion on that person, and how that person really was compared to how history remembers them. And of course, it's part of the show saying that, yes, Ichabod knew these people, and haha, look at how different they were, haha, look at how incensed he is by how they are remembered, haha. But it's never like with Abbie, like, here's what this person thought of me. Mary was obsessed, but that gives us nothing. Here's what this person thought of me. Here's what I was like when I knew this person versus how I am now. Here's what this person would think of me if they could see me now. Ichabod doesn't get that. He didn't even get it with Katrina, really, because I said last episode that Ichabod holds Katrina up on a pedestal, and it's like Katrina also has this like idealized version of him where it's like you can't even imagine them having a conflict. It's just the people that Ichabod mentions and that we meet from his past do nothing to add depth to him, to add dimension, to give us what was Ichabod like as a child? We saw his father in a flashback, but basically all we know about Ichabod right now is that the way he is now is how he always was, and the worst thing he ever did in his life was when he decided to betray the British to fight on the side of the Americans. He mentioned George Washington so much in season 1, and yet nothing. It was all a working relationship, a very again, pedestal. Ichabod held him up. Don't you dare say a bad word about George Washington in front of him. And then even in this episode, he toasted to Washington. But what was the relationship like? Like, obviously, it was only working relationship, but like, he's missing that. He's missing that, and that is why Abbie manages. And of course, I wouldn't have it any other way, because we certainly get enough, characters of color, Black characters, who are shoved aside, not developed, in favor of their white counterparts. So this is definitely a nice change of pace. But considering who Ichabod is supposed to be, he's supposed to be her co-lead. Like, they need to do better, because they're not doing well at all. They are flopping. They are letting him down. So, and speaking of meeting people, people you meet as dimensions of the character, this is what Nick could be for Jenny. Nick, the introduction of Nick, Jenny knows him. It could have told us more about her, about who she is, what are some of their adventures. I don't know, did he ever see Jenny like when she was very, very low? What is the worst thing he ever saw Jenny do? What is the best thing he ever saw Jenny do? Did he learn some of his stuff from her? Did she pick up any, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Did she pick up any anomalies is the best I can come up with, because the word is not coming up. Quirkiness, did she pick up any of her quirks? No. Instead of doing that for Jenny, they are doing, I'm thinking still, some romance thing where Nick likes Abbie, Jenny likes Nick, and none of us want to see it. I was literally live blocking this on Tumblr, and I was about to write. So basically, they have switched out Jenny for Nick, because they have the same skill in terms of every time Nick is like, I know this person, I did a job for them, blah, blah. This is the same thing that Jenny was saying last season, except he's white and male. It's the same thing, and he's lacking the deep relationship with Abbie. They have given him her role, scaled back her screen time, and honestly, and I didn't realize that he was basically Jenny until this morning when I read this comment on Tumblr that was saying that it was a comment, I think it was a quote from an article that was saying that Sleepy Hollow is bringing on way too many characters, and like as many characters as it's bringing on, that's how like how many viewers it's losing, because it can't handle all of these characters, and it really can't. Where is Reyes? Why is Irving's storyline moving so slow? Because it is moving super slow. It seems to be picking up steam, but I thought that when he signed his soul away, I complained about this on Tumblr, because I realized why I'm on such a roller coaster with this season. And it's because I don't feel an arc yet. I don't. And I should by now. War is here. We have 2 horsemen. But the way the storyline is pacing along, you would never know that. We basically took a detour last week to go visit Ichabod's old flame that added what to the story? The score between Ichabod and Katrina? Was that really worth it? Could we not have done something a little bit more? It doesn't feel like we have 2 horsemen. Henry is basically focused on destroying his parents. He's great at that. Great. Give him that, and either they should have waited a little longer to bring War on, or make War a completely different person from Henry. Don't make him both. Henry has too much going on, and they're not honoring all of them. He's Jeremy, he hates his parents, he's a witch, he's a sin eater, and he's War. I don't see how they haven't personalized War. By that I mean they haven't given him any attributes. Death was killing people. Okay, what is War doing? What is War's shtick? Do they incite violence, like we saw in that one episode? Oh, but no, that was the coin. Like what is he? What comes from War? Not gadgets, coins, bones, nothing like that. Because right now, everything Henry's doing is because he's able to do because he's a witch. But War, what is War? Like, we don't know. We don't know. The show is failing to tell us that. So, yes, the episode itself, I basically said it. Abbie's relationship with Joey was very well done. The actor was cute. The relationship was great. It got resolved. She wasn't going to give up on him at all. And in the end, he asked her to write a recommendation letter for him for Quantico because he wants to continue his dad's legacy of helping people. Corbin believed he was a Superman. Superman was repeated a couple of times in this episode, including, a funny moment in Abbie and Ichabod, where Ichabod was trying to remember what is Superman's normal identity. Is it Peter Parker? No, it's Clark Kent. So that was beautiful. And so something I don't like in shows, is when characters draw false comparisons, when shows have characters draw false comparisons and don't call them out on it, because the show is letting Ichabod stand in his wrongness and saying that Henry has anything in common with Joe. He doesn't. When is Ichabod going to open his eyes to Henry? When is he going to believe Henry when Henry says, I am irredeemable, don't save me, I'm mocking you right now in this conversation, do you not see that? When is that going to happen? So now more than ever he wants to save Henry because he thinks that, I even found it weird when he was telling Abbie, it's too late, there's nothing you can do for him, just kill him. I found that weird. But of course that was only there. I mean, come on, this is Ichabod. He didn't give up on Katrina for how long? He would not give up on her no matter what Abbie said. Even when she said, you might betray me, Moloch said you would hand me over to him. He didn't give up on her. He redrew that map to purgatory. And yet he was telling Abbie, let him go, it's too late, we did our best. I thought that was weird. But of course, that was only in there so that at the end he could be like, you didn't give up on Joe, so I can't give up on Henry. They're not the same. Henry is doing bad on purpose. Joe was doing bad because he was being forced to. By who? Henry. Nothing in common. So next week, we're going to have to go rescue Katrina because Henry has slipped a bug inside of her. Literal, disgusting, huge bug inside of her. Why? Why does it need to, because I feel like she's about to give birth. She was riding on that church floor, it seems to me. Does it need to gestate in her stomach to become an uglier, bigger, worse bug? Who knows? We're about to find out. Bet next episode is when Ichabod forgives her. You guys, Ichabod has promise. And I don't mean by the fact that, he's silly, blah, blah. His emotional beast, and I mean his true two beats. The first one was when he learned that Henry is his son, or that he has a son. The first one was when he learned that he had a son. Katrina gave birth. It hit me. And even in this episode, even the last time I was like, the cranes are in trouble, who cares? When he was sitting there and talking about, Abbie was encouraging him to be pissed if you're pissed. He's like, I'm peeved. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt. It's good. It's really good. And it made me care for a moment. So he can do it. Tom Meeson or Myson, however you say his last name, Tom, he can do it. And it's just everything surrounding it in terms of that story and in terms of how they usually write his character that just doesn't do it for me with this whole, him and Katrina having troubles thing. But in that, scenes like that, he can do it. They just need to slow down a little bit with the amount of people he knew and his comments on them and just dig deeper a little bit, go on the inside, because we don't know anything about how it was, his personality. What is his growth? It just seems like he's been static this entire time, including the marriage that he had way back then is the one he has now. It's just, Abbie is so much better than him. So, Irving's story, like I said, it crawled along a little bit. He almost killed someone. I kind of missed the first scene between him and Henry, but he almost killed someone. Finally, see, this is why I say the story is it feels like we're so much farther in the season than we are. What is this episode? 5, 6? It feels like we're so much farther and nothing has happened. But Abbie finally knows, Team Witness finally knows that Henry, why did he take so long to call them? You guys, I'm rolling my eyes too much. So, why did it take so long for him to call them, contact them, and let them know what was happening? Why did that take so long? Where is Reyes? This season, this first half so far is just, it's a little too all over the place. They have a lot of characters, but not, I mean, like, Nick really doesn't need to be here. They could be giving that time to Jenny. Reyes doesn't need to be here. And I keep bringing her up because they brought her in like she was going to do something. She doesn't need to be here. They could be giving that time to Irving's story. Just keep the same people you had last season and just enrich the story. Abbie and Jenny are supposed to be finding out, Abbie got that file. Where is it about her mom? What's happening? We haven't heard a word about it since then. We don't even know if Jenny knows about it. It's like something happens, we take a break for whatever reason. And in this episode, like I said a couple of episodes ago, we had Abbie and Ichabod spending a whole lot of time together. But like I said, what held this episode and made it strong and made it very enjoyable to me was the fact that it was focused on a relationship that concerned Abbie. So that was it. I mean, those are my thoughts. That was the episode. I loved it completely. It was called "And the Abyss Stares Back" or "And the Abyss Gazes Back" or something like that. So it was a very good episode. It was a strong episode. Ichabod is flopping, but that's part of the course, isn't it? It's part of the course. So comment, you guys. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think of the season so far. How do you feel it's holding up? How do you feel? Oh, one thing I loved about this episode was that the gore reminded me of early season 1. Just like hollowed out inside, people turned inside out. It reminded me of early season 1. So yes, let me know what you guys are thinking about this season so far. Like the plot, the arc, like do you feel the direction and is the pacing working for you? Because the pacing is not working for me because I'm on a roller coaster. I'm up today. What am I going to be next Monday? It's going to be a Rescue Katrina episode. So, but it does look good. So we're going to have to see. But it also means that Ichabod's going to be talking a lot and about Katrina. When will that woman catch a break? Not anytime soon, apparently. So, and do you really think she's going to die? Because they showed us Ichabod like putting his head on her and crying. Do you really think she's going to die? I do not. I don't think that's going to be the episode. So comment, you guys. Talk to me. Let me know what you think. And I will see you next Monday. All right? Bye.